Education can be boring, but entertainment is always fun. Watch what happened when Miss Brown turned it into one.
If you take care of your bodies, then your bodies will take care of you. If not, well,
technology first is in everything we do.
Hi, I'm Assistant Teacher. You normally see me behind the camera. I also edit videos and I upload them to our YouTube channel. I've accepted on some extra tools lately. I've been giving you videos in education, entertainment, edutainment, and environmental science, and a lot more coming soon.
Hello, Sankofa families. Are you ready for today's activities? We are. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi, I'm Savayah Brown, and I'm here with today's lesson, which is a self-portrait. On your left side, you're going to have where you are now and some short-term goals, and on your right, you're going to put where you see yourself in 5 years. And some supplies we have is some paint, we have some popsicle sticks, little stickers, some letters, string, and more paper and paint sticks. Okay, so now we're gonna fold it in half so that on your left you can have 2020, on your right you have 2025. And so some short-term goals for me is dancing, graduating high school, and just getting a job and making money. Some long-term goals, I want to be in the FBI to be a behavior analysis agent, and I want to be graduated, like doing good in police academy and things like that with different degrees.
So on this side, for who you are now, what are some things that you're going to put on your board? I see you're going to get really creative.
I'm going to put Sankofa, maybe pom-poms to represent cheerleading.
Nice. What about for this side?
Maybe like police sirens, a diploma, a job.
All right, cool. So I'm going to watch you get started, and you're going to take us through this journey of your poster board. So we will see. Very nice.
Thank you.
So Savayah has started on her portrait. Her first thing was to work on her face, and it looks good so far.
Okay, so right now we have a face done, and so I just put my hair in a bun because that's usually how I wear my hair, but I feel like when I get older I'm gonna wear it out more, so I have straight hair down. I have a little lash because I'm gonna start wearing makeup in there. My eye is smaller on this side, and our eyebrows smaller because, you know, it may change later on in life. So that's what the face I have so far, and yeah, we're gonna start writing words and actually getting more into what I want to do with my life. So this is my finished product. On this side, I put now and cheers and Sankofa. Got some dance. I do African dance, and I put pom-poms for cheer. Now on this side, I have a diploma. I have FBI BAU, which is what I want to do. I got some stickers with me, police sirens, and the 5 years later. For my face, I made the eyes and the eyebrows a little bit smaller on this side because I'm young, and I always wear my hair in a bun, so we have that. And I think when I get older, I'm gonna start wearing my hair, out a little bit more. And I put some eyelashes and makeup kind of situation because I'm older. And this is around my whole thing.
Hi, my name is Paris Jordan.
Hey, thank you for joining me. In the recognition of the contribution of the Asian and Pacific culture, I'd like to talk today about the history of game consoles and video games. Many of us may recognize the game console sold in this slide. In the upper left-hand corner, you see there's the Nintendo 3DS, a mobile gaming console. Right below it is the Sony PS4, very popular today. Then we have in the middle the Nintendo Switch, and below that the Nintendo Wii. In the upper right-hand corner, you see there's the Sony PlayStation Vita, again another mobile gaming console. Right below that is the Microsoft Xbox One, the latest rendition by Microsoft, and below that the Nintendo Switch. Now, as I said, we may all recognize these because these are those that are quite popular today. What about these? Are you able to identify the Atari 7800 or the Microsoft Xbox 360? What about the Nokia N-Gage? What about these? Are you able to identify any of these game consoles?
Over the years, gaming consoles have been made by many different manufacturers. Microsoft, Atari, Nintendo, Commodore, Coleco, Sony, Mattel, Sega. But what about the video games themselves? Let's watch this video and see their evolution.
Hi, I'm Medium Invader from the classic video game Space Invaders, and I want to tell you a little bit about where video games came from. A video game is an electronic game that has an interface designed for human interaction on a video device. Simple. Video games are used by scientists, the military, and people like you, and their evolution has spread across arcades, consoles, computers, smartphones, and all kinds of other electronics. These days, video games are everywhere, but they were actually made in science labs. In fact, the earliest US video game patent on record was in 1948, and at the time, it was referred to as a cathode ray tube amusement device. That's a mouthful. Some of the earliest video games include the Nimrod computer, Oxo, Tennis for Two, and my personal favorite, Space War. But none of these early video games were ever sold to the public because they were either too huge or too expensive to get out of the lab. This all changed when a man named Ralph Baer looked at his television screen and wondered how else it might be used. In 1972, Baer's idea to get video games out of the science lab and into the living room led to the release of a game console called Odyssey. Odyssey allowed you to play a game on your TV. At about the same time, two other people, Norman Bushnell and Ted Dabney, were working on something similar in a little company called Atari. You might have heard of it, and even if you haven't, I'm sure that your dad has. Atari's first major game release was in 1972, an arcade game called Pong. It was an immediate hit, and it's credited as the first commercially successful video game. Atari then released a home version of Pong in 1974. By 1978, competition between Atari and another game company called Midway was heating up. Midway had licensed an arcade game from the Japanese company Taito that put them on the map. The game? Space Invaders. It featured iconic actors like me, and it went on to become the second highest selling arcade game of all time. Space Invaders also helped kick off what is known as the golden age of arcade games. In response, Atari followed with the release of the arcade game Asteroids. It ranked 6th on the list of highest-selling arcade games. It was a good game, but it's no Space Invaders. By 1980, color came to arcade games, and this was also the year that another video gaming milestone was born. Pac-Man, created by the Japanese company Namco, was brought to the US by Midway. Important to the spread of video games into popular culture, Pac-Man was a character that could be licensed. It wasn't long before it had a song in the charts, a Saturday morning television show, and all sorts of other products. In just a year, Pac-Man arcade games made over $1 billion in quarters. Then, in 1981, a company called Nintendo started making waves in the US video game market with their release of Donkey Kong. It was the earliest video game to have a storyline. The story went a bit like this. Donkey Kong is the pet of a carpenter named Jumpman. Jumpman mistreats his pet ape, so the ape steals his girlfriend, leaving the game player to assume the role of Jumpman and rescue the girl. Jumpman was eventually renamed to Mario. Other iconic arcade games from the early 80s include Frogger, Dragon's Lair, and Mario Brothers. Perhaps the last iconic game considered to be part of the golden age of arcade games is Double Dragon. It was the first really successful example of the beat-em-up genre. It was released in 1987, and like Donkey Kong, it featured a damsel in distress storyline, a storyline common in many video games. By the mid-90s, the golden age of arcade games was coming to an end, and the home game console was gaining in popularity. While arcade games continued to decline in sales over the years, the popularity of video games was merely beginning. We will talk about that and a lot more in part 2 of a brief history of video games.
Bye. Thank you for joining us.